Welcome to this video, and in this video I will talk about the best traffic sources for your OFM business. I will go through the main ones that everybody seems to know. I will go through some of them who are not that quite popular, and in the end I will drop the most underrated traffic source in 2023, so make sure to stick by. And the way we in our agency structure the traffic sources is we put them into two categories. We have one, the effort-based traffic sources, and B, the algorithm-based traffic sources. And in a second I'll get into what I mean by that, but let's start with the effort-based traffic sources. And what I mean by that is basically there's no algorithm helping you in a large scale, right? To get views, to get attention, to get subscribers, you need to put in the effort. First one would be Reddit. Reddit is very, very good for beginners. It doesn't really require a large knowledge in any business sphere. It's kind of easy to set up and you get into the platform very quick. The platform is not that complicated. You'll figure out how to get at least a few subscribers in the beginning. The problem with Reddit, and the reason why I don't recommend doing it at a large scale, is because it's hard to scale. That's the whole point. With Reddit you can get the first subscribers, which of course makes sense if you're just starting out trying to get a feeling for this whole industry. But once you get to a decent amount of subscribers, it's very difficult to get to a large scale 100 to 500 paid subscribers a day. The reason for that is, like I said, it's effort based. So you would have to hire someone, you would have to get new subreddits. So I wouldn't say there's the complete limit, but at a certain point it becomes very difficult to scale if you don't know what you're doing in business. So if you're just a beginner, if you're an amateur, which is completely fine, you can do Reddit for the beginning, get your first money in, but after that I would try to build up another traffic source, ideally algorithm based. And before we get into the algorithm based traffic sources, the second effort based traffic source I see are dating apps. A lot of people do dating apps. A few of them do it quite successfully, and only a handful gets large money out of it. And the reason for that is, which nobody tells you in this industry, for dating apps, in order to be successful with them, in order to scale them, you need an advanced knowledge in software, programming, IT, etc. Because you run into some problems that you don't know how to fix. It's very, very difficult to get a good system running. It's even more difficult to scale it up to a large scale so you make at least 100 subscribers a day. And this should be your goal, right? You don't want to settle for 10 paid subs a day. This is not your goal. Your goal is to make money. And in order to do that, dating apps would be a pain in the ass if you don't know what you're doing. If you have this knowledge, if you kind of know how to program, maybe you in school you did some IT stuff and all this shit, it's very, very good for you, because there's only a small percentage who do it successfully. There's very little competition, but it's definitely not that good for beginners as it's often propagated in this space. I wouldn't recommend dating apps for beginners, because it takes a shit ton of money to get all the software, to get the equipment, etc. You need some money. So if you're that broke, if you can't pay the rent and you want to make money with a business, if you just want to hustle some money, this is not the right way for you. So keep that in mind if you search the first or the next traffic source for your business. Now, these were the effort-based traffic sources. You just need to do stuff and you get results out of it. I mean, even if you kind of automate it, there's kind of a technical limit on how you can do. You only have that much hours in a day. That's why algorithm traffic sources, algorithm-based traffic sources should be the way for you if you want to run your agency, your operation at a large scale. Because algorithm-based traffic sources have no limit. Let's take for example YouTube, because we're on the platform right now. I could post this video right now and I just do this one video, I'd upload it to my YouTube channel, and it has the potential to get 100 billion views. It's possible. I could make the money of my life, which is one video. Of course, the probability of that is very, very low. That's the whole point about algorithm-based traffic sources, and that is you're trying to improve the probability and the possibility of going viral and getting a lot of views. Now, there are a few different strategies, and I want to start with Instagram, because everybody's on Instagram. Between the age of 15 and 25, almost everybody at least got it somewhere, and the most of them are using it actively. So what you want to do with Instagram is you want to build a brand. So it's not really that effective if you start out. It's more fitting for you if you're kind of evolved in this business, if you have some knowledge about building a brand, about expressing certain character traits, certain other stuff on like the creator you're working with, because like an Instagram profile, it's like a double-edged sword, right? You can either completely fuck up the brand because you don't know what you're doing and it seems like a bot, or you can completely triple your revenue. You can be super creative with the way you funnel people to OF. So it all comes down to your business skills and your skills to market social media effectively. So on Instagram, just to give you a quick summary, if you use it as a traffic source to put as much content out there as possible, and if you just use it as a way to strengthen your funnel, because a lot of people forget this, if you're just funneling people from another traffic source through Insta, through OF, then Instagram should be used for tightening the funnel, for giving depth to the character of the creator. So making stories, reels, pictures, live streams, if you feel to do them, whatever, it's your choice. So just use every element Instagram offers you, because it's very, very powerful to build a connection to your followers and to convert them to your site. So that's where Instagram is very, very beautiful. But like I said, it requires some kind of business skills to handle it properly. So I wouldn't do it in the beginning, because you're not gonna get 500 subs from Instagram just by posting some reels. Like the chance is lower than with the other traffic sources I'm coming to right now. The best traffic source, in my opinion, and the one I've talked about previously, is TikTok. TikTok is the #1 traffic source you can use in your business to completely crush this whole industry. And the way you do it is, first of all, you need to handle a setup. You want to have a couple of phones, a couple of accounts posting there, etc. Because TikTok, remember, it's a Chinese spy app. TikTok knows everything. You can't trick the app, you can't use some software, you can't use some proxies or whatever you like heard somewhere in the space to use. No, impossible. With TikTok, you need to stick by the rules. There's no way of tricking the Chinese government. Trust me, they built nukes. They will be able to track a fucking software. So with TikTok, be very, very careful what you do, because TikTok will shadow ban or ban your account as soon as they see or have a clue that you're kind of cheating their platform. Be very careful. That's why it's, I believe, very, very hard to set up, because you need to figure out the algorithm, which is the most advanced that we have access to in this day and age. And also you have to figure out like the way it works, because I can tell you, for example, Reddit works a lot with visuality, right? You show something, the people like it, they go to your site. Very basic, right? On TikTok, it's completely different. It's a marketing source, right? People are not on TikTok to see some adult content. They're there because they want to get entertained. They have ADHD, they want dopamine, they're scrolling through their videos and they want to see interesting stuff. So just doing a little dance in a revealing outfit won't do the job. You need to master the skill of video marketing, you need to master the skill of creativity, of attention grabbing, of sales as a whole. So this platform, once you have it figured out, there's clearly no limit on how much money you can make, because every single video has the potential to get 10 million, 100 million views. And we've seen it happen and we know how it works. So your main task on TikTok is just finding the right content to copy, to reproduce for your creators, and finding a way of not getting shadow banned by the platform. Once you kind of got that handled, you'll see the subscribers flowing in. If you want to get more into this platform, I can recommend learning a lot about TikTok marketing as a whole on YouTube. There's a lot of good content out there that teaches you how to grab the viewer's attention, how to keep the video interesting, how to structure your videos, etc. And if you have like some brain cells left, you'll be able to get this knowledge and implement it in your own business and into this specific niche. TikTok, definitely the best one. Either if you're a beginner or a complete veteran who mastered this industry, it's never too late to start it, because once you got it figured out, it's gonna change your business. Trust me. Definitely the best traffic source in my eyes in 2023, and it keeps on growing every day. TikTok does a very good job on growing. So out of all traffic sources, I believe this is the most reliable one if you want to play the long-term game. But this is just my opinion. So after we got TikTok out of the way, now we're coming to what I said in the beginning, the most underrated traffic source in 2023, and it's, surprise, Twitter or /X, after they changed the name recently. Twitter isn't a good traffic source for beginners. I say that right away, because it will take some time to build up. Twitter is not good for the beginning. You are gonna be very, very depressed if you start Twitter from the beginning and you're not getting any subs and your business is not going. It's super shit. But once you play Twitter long term and you get other sources that bring you subs and you're just building Twitter up, like 1 or 2 months, you've got one of the most powerful traffic sources you can imagine, because on Twitter, people actually spend their attention on a complete different level. Twitter, the way it works, I mean, everyone knows Twitter, but the way you can build it up to your niche is you just got like one account of your creator and you're just trying to get some attention. And the most common mistake people do on Twitter is they just post sexual stuff, and you don't want this because everybody does it on there. Like, people are not interested particularly in the personality or the opinion of someone who only posts like adult content. They don't really give a fuck, do they? So what you want to do is you want to be a real human. So let's say you're working with a female creator, you want to be the real female, like going to Starbucks, going to volleyball practice, watching a movie on Netflix, and you want to tweet about it. You want to make it a bit funny so people like your profile. And the second step is get into the hot topics that are like viral right now. Now, like at the stage of this video, you can go into politics if there's an election ongoing. You can get into like boxing fights that are very popular right now. You can get into YouTube beef, rapper beef. You can position yourself on one side and comment about everything you see about this topic, because the people who like this topic as well, they'll scroll through the comments and they'll see a hot chick saying the exact stuff they think about, and it's also a bit funny and a bit based, or like if you want to go into another side, it's like very, very liberal, whatever, it's your choice. And they love it. They go into profile, follow, see some of the tweets and subscribe and spend their money. That's why Twitter is powerful. Only problem is the algorithm isn't as powerful as TikTok's. You'll probably spend 1 or 2 months just tweeting and commenting and you won't really see results. But once you build like a good brand and your account grows and you got to a certain reach, you'll see a lot of subscribers coming from there. And also, if your adult site gets banned at some point, this is your number one asset, because if you want to start like again, you can't contact the old subs, and TikTok is very, very fast. So also there, it's hard to convert like the followers on TikTok because you don't see every video, right? On Twitter, you can just put out a few tweets and every single follower subscribes again. That's why it's the most underrated platform. I don't want to go into too much detail because there's a place and a time for another video, but that's basically what I wanted to say for this video. These are the main and the most lucrative traffic sources based on like what your goals are, on what stage you are in this business. So make sure to keep being subscribed for the future videos. We got a lot of stuff planned, and I wish you a great day.